You know that feeling? That nagging fear of being alone? That little voice that says if you're by yourself, something must be wrong with you. Well, today we are diving into Ranucca Gavrani's The Art of Being Alone, and we're going to completely flip that idea on its head. This isn't about just putting up with loneliness. No, this is about turning alone time into one of your most powerful tools for self-discovery. Let's get into it.
This quote right here, this is the heart of our entire journey today. It perfectly captures the huge shift we're going to explore, moving from the painful prison of loneliness, where being by yourself feels like a punishment, to the incredible freedom of solitude, where being with yourself, well, it feels like coming home.
So why is that really? Why does the very idea of sitting by ourselves send a little shiver of fear down our spines? To answer that, we have to start unpacking all the myths we've been told our whole lives. And that brings us to our first stop, the loneliness myth. This whole section is about unlearning the stories society, movies, and everyone else has told us about what it really means to be on your own. I mean, think about it. How many times have you seen this in a movie? The kid eating alone in the cafeteria. They're always painted as pathetic, right? They're a project, someone who needs to be saved. We learn this lesson without even realizing it. Being alone is a sign of weakness, and it's something that needs to be fixed. Okay, so this is probably one of the most important distinctions we're gonna make. On the one hand, being alone is just a physical state. It's neutral. It's just you with yourself. That's it. But being lonely, that's a painful mindset. That's when you look at yourself being alone and you layer on all this self-pity and misery. One is a fact, the other is the negative story we tell ourselves about that fact. And where does that negative story come from? A huge part of it is the fear of judgment. We imagine this giant spotlight on us, with everyone watching and thinking, what a weirdo. But this quote from David Foster Wallace just nails it. The truth is, that judgment is almost always loudest inside our own heads. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to notice. So this fear, it actually leads to something much, much deeper. Because the real pain of loneliness, as we're about to see, doesn't actually come from a lack of people. It comes from a lack of yourself. And here's how that tragic cycle works. It all starts with that fear of being judged. So what do? We become people pleasers. We start saying yes to things we hate, laughing at jokes we don't find funny, all just to fit in. Over time, we slowly lose our real identity. And that's how you end up in a room packed with people, feeling completely and totally alone. Because the one person you've actually lost touch with is yourself.
And this is the real cost. It's that terrifying moment when you look in the mirror and you just don't recognize the person staring back. Chasing after everyone else's approval can lead you to betray the one person who matters most, you. So the loneliness we're so scared of, it's often just a symptom of this deep inner disconnect.
But the good news is, there is a way back. This is the turning point. This is where we stop running away from ourselves and we start the incredible journey of finding that lost connection. It's about finding the key to that cage of loneliness. So where do you even begin? Especially when you feel totally lost. The book gives this amazing, practical piece of advice, and it starts right here. Isn't that brilliant? Instead of trying to define this huge, abstract idea of who you are, you start by drawing boundaries. You start saying, you know what, I am not someone who enjoys that, or I am not someone who believes this. It's a process of elimination that helps you carve away all the stuff that isn't you, so you can finally see what's left. Now, this whole journey requires us to totally rethink what self-love means. It's not just about bubble baths and face masks. Real self-love, the kind Gavrani talks about, is about deep, radical self-acceptance. It's looking at all your flaws, your messy parts, your mistakes, and not with shame, but with understanding. It's about learning how to take those so-called flaws and turn them into your greatest strengths. And once you start to really know and accept yourself, you can finally begin to practice the true art of solitude. This is where we graduate from just escaping loneliness to actively building a beautiful, rich, and comfortable home inside ourselves. And if you still have that little voice telling you that solitude is for weirdos, think again. Some of the most creative geniuses in history use solitude as their superpower. You've got Georgia O'Keeffe, who found her incredible vision out in the desert. You've got Nikola Tesla, an inventor who said originality absolutely requires seclusion. And of course, Vincent van Gogh, who turned his own deep solitude into some of the most powerful art the world has ever seen. Tesla's words just perfectly capture this. Solitude isn't an empty void. It's a creative incubator. It's the one place where you can finally hear your own thoughts, clear and strong, without the noise of the crowd drowning them out.
It's where the real, original ideas are born.
Let's be honest, this is more important today than ever before. We are drowning in information, opinions, notifications, just constant noise. In this crazy, distracted world, the ability to simply focus is a new kind of luxury. Solitude is what gives your brain the space it's begging for to digest everything, reflect on what matters, and just hit the reset button. Which brings us to our final and I think most empowering destination, becoming your own best company. This really is the ultimate freedom that the art of being alone gives you. I love this quote because it perfectly captures the two sides of this coin. Realizing that you are, fundamentally, on your own. Yeah, that can be a little scary at first, but the cool news? You're on your own now. That means you get to be the author of your own story. You are the captain of your own ship. It is absolute and total freedom. And here it is, the beautiful paradox at the end of all this. When you learn to truly belong to yourself, you don't actually push people away. It's the opposite. Your relationships get so much healthier. Other people's company stops being this desperate necessity to fill a void inside you, and it becomes a wonderful bonus that adds to your already full and happy life. So we'll end on this thought. When you stop letting the fear of being alone write your story, you finally take back your rightful role as the main character. The only question left is, what amazing story are you going to write for yourself?